Hello, Brigadiers and Brigadettes and hockey fans alike. This is your captain speaking. Welcome to my channel. Now let's jump into some hockey content. Hello everybody, happy Saturday. We are here talking about news I wish I could have covered in our past video on Wednesday or Thursday, I don't recall. Just got back from working a soccer game, so I'm a little red. Don't know how you get burnt in the shade, but that's fine. Anyway, so we're going to be talking about Thatcher Demko, the goalie for the Vancouver Canucks, signing a 5-year, $25 million extension, and giving my take on it, and my computer's blowing up, so let's hope that we can get through this video without it shutting down. So, it does appear that Thatcher Demko will be the man in net for the future for the Vancouver Canucks, as, again, he signed a 5-year, $25 million deal. This news comes fast, as just a day or two before he was signed, the rumors kind of spread that said, hey, Jim Benning seems to be more hard-pressed in order to retain Demko and sign him to a deal. So, kind of a weird thing that I didn't think was actually going to happen. I thought it was just rumors and fake news, but here we are. The man's got a 5-year extension. He got the bag. Life is good for Thatcher. Definitely an interesting signing, though. Thatcher is going to be a restricted free agent this summer and only has 59 career starts under his belt, so you have to wonder if this move will pay off or not, and that's what we're going to talk about in this video, kind of giving a review of it. And Jim Benning does have a fetish of giving long-term contracts that can kind of bite you in the butt, or they don't pan out in general. But this is one of those deals that I think is personally more terrifying and exciting at the same time, because you're really not sure what's going to happen. And normally I would say, why, Jim? But again, something about Thatcher Demko is different. I just feel excited about this. Thatcher did have some time to grow and learn from the great Jacob Markstrom, which we all know that I love, and am so sad to see him play in a Flames jersey. It's disgusting. Not a fan of it. And when Markstrom left for Calgary in free agency, we kind of all knew that Thatcher was at worst going to be a 1A, 1B goalie where he got probably about 40 starts in a regular year. And whoever he got paired up with wasn't probably going to be the goalie of the future. So this was kind of like to get Thatcher to get some experience of being kind of a 1A, 1B type guy. But I'm glad he came off of a killer series against Las Vegas from last season, where we all knew that's kind of where the Thatcher Demko mania started. He was a brick wall, and let me give you some perspective about that series, because that's kind of, I think, what made them realize that he could be a potential franchise goalie, and that they could possibly let Markstrom leave. So the Canucks were down 3-1 in that series, and they were getting manhandled. I mean, Vegas was Vegas. They were the much better team. They were a Stanley Cup favorite. And then they decided to switch out goalies in Game 4, I believe. No, maybe it was Game 3. In Game 3, they switched him out, I think. And then Thatcher played well the rest of that series. And he really was out of this world. And it was Demko mania. For 4 games, it looked like the Canucks might find a way to sneak past Vegas, even though they were still getting outplayed terribly. It was just that Thatcher Demko was stopping anything and everything that was coming in his direction. With Thatcher in net, and he didn't start all 4 games, but I think he started 3 of them and then came in that Game 3 in relief of Markstrom. The Canucks were outshot 130-56 with a 30.11 shots for percentage, which is just terrible. You want it to be about 50-50 on a given day. Obviously, you'd like it to be a little bit more. Probably about 60% is where you'd want it to be if you're a dominant team. And then 40% is just pretty bad. So 30% terrible. The Golden Knights led in scoring chances for with 128-59. So they were having way more scoring opportunities. Not great at math, but about double. And then they led in high danger chances 51-22. So again, about double for the high danger chances. And it didn't even matter for the most part. I know Vegas did get past them, but for the series, Demko had a .64 goals against average. And just to give you some perspective, about a 2.7 is NHL average. And then a low 2 goals against average is really good. So .64 goals against average. He wouldn't put that up in a season, by the way. But over the playoffs, those 4 games, it was crazy. And a sparkling .985 save percentage. If you're about .920, that's pretty good. .930, amazing. .985, you're basically not giving up anything. Also, to add on to that, the crazy short but magical run that Thatcher was on to almost propel the Canucks into the conference finals for the first time in forever. He was expected to give up 11 goals in those 4 games. And again, that Game 3 was not a game he started. And in those 4 games, he only ended up giving up 2 in a stretch where it was really men against boys. Vegas was manhandling the Canucks, and I was just like, wow, we were really about to use Thatcher to get in the conference finals against Dallas, who I think we would have beat to play Tampa Bay. Now, Tampa Bay probably would have beat us in the Stanley Cup final, but man, we were close. We were so close because of Thatcher. It was insane. And still, like I said, we haven't seen a lot of Thatcher. This is the 4th year of his career. Basically, it's been 2 shortened years, really 1 full year if you're a complete starter. So the deal was a little bit surprising to me, especially the length of the deal. That was the big thing for me. We have goalie prospect Mike DiPietro, which it seems like we've been talking about him forever. I don't know. He's on the taxi squad. He hasn't played this year. Who I'd love to see next season, and then time will tell, what he is as a prospect. And, that's why I thought we'd avoid the long-term deal, because you have Demko as an RFA. He's having a pretty good year, but we probably could have got him extended for a year or two and then see what DiPietro can do. It's fine, though. And let's get this straight right off the bat with this. I love Thatcher Demko as a goalie, and I actually almost got this jersey, which my professor thought was pretty cool, the Sprite jersey, as I like to call it, and everybody else does too, for Thatcher, but I didn't know what his future was going to be with the team, so I didn't get it and held off, and now I'm probably going to be saving up for a Demko jersey, probably not this one, probably our actual regular homes, because he looks like he's got a future with the team. So is the signing a good deal? I'll list off some things that are promising if we want to look at it that way for the signing. The first is that he's able to win games in Vancouver, even though we're definitely not a dominant force, defensively especially. In fact, Vancouver has been one of the worst defensive teams in the league this season, but Thatcher's been able to keep the team alive. And even though we're by no means like Tampa Bay, Colorado defensively, Colorado's insane, by the way, defensively, if you haven't looked up those numbers. He manages to keep us in games. Thatcher has the 12th best goal save above average out of all goalies on the penalty kill, which is nice because we spend the 3rd most time on the penalty kill. So, even though we give teams a crazy amount of opportunities to score while we're shorthanded, Thatcher is one of the best at stopping the puck on the PK, which is huge. And, that's another thing too. He can save us even though our PK allows the 8th most scoring chances against and allows a high amount of slot shots. Slot shots are obviously premium shots you want to get where you're not forced off to the edge, where you're kind of more middle, hopefully lower slot if you're a team. And then he spent the 5th most time on PK on average in the league for goalies. So he's just been really good all around, and a lot of work that he's had to do, he's been very good in it. He's also the 15th best goalie for goal save above average for 5-on-5 play, while facing the 3rd most shots in that span, and is 4th in the league for high danger saves, which, Vancouver being pretty bad defensively, I'm not going to lie to you, that makes sense. He's had to face a lot of high danger opportunities, but he's been great at saving them. And, the numbers are one of those things that it's been impressive, but I think when you look at the total shots faced, the high danger shots he's had to face, it piles up, it adds, it shows that Demko can possibly be this guy. So yes, I do think that he's good, and the recognition is starting to become a little bit more household outside of Vancouver, or somebody that's a really big hockey fan. So I'm going to get into what I think about the contract. And by the way, you're probably thinking at the end of this video, he clickbaited us. Yes, I did. The contract won't kill us financially, and I'm still surprised that we did it, especially for the length of the deal, like I said. Mainly because with COVID, there's not a lot of teams that I think would try to offer to get somebody's restricted free agent because, it's just a pain. And you're going to have to offer a pretty good chunk of change. Maybe Buffalo would have, I don't know. There's not a lot of teams that have the cap to do it. I don't know how that would work. The main concerns I have are this. The first is that he'll be studied really intensely because this will be his first year where he's kind of like a 1A, 1B goalie, kind of picking up the reins at this point, and people start to figure him out. And then the second is that the team won't improve defensively and will still allow a lot of chances, meaning for a lot of work for Thatcher, the more chances you face, the easier it is to give up goals because you're tired. And in 1 year, it could be an injury or he just gets worn out. But the other thing is that I'm thinking is he could be the next Markstrom that makes this team look a lot better because, Markstrom covered up a lot of sins for this team, but last season especially. But he did it for a few years where this team was not good defensively, but we'd win games because we're a good offensive team and Markstrom would just cover up the holes and make insane saves. So that's what I'm thinking, that, if the offense is relevant enough and we have Thatcher continuing to do what he does and take a step forward even more and become the next Markstrom for us, that'd be huge. Either way, I am excited to see how this deal works out for Thatcher. For this, it's kind of like a marriage, for better or worse, for the Canucks, and for me as a fan of the Canucks. We will see how it works out, but all I have to say is Thatcher, if you ever watch this, I have all the faith in the world for you, and I can't wait to see you hoist the cup for the Canucks. And that's going to wrap it up for today's video, everybody. Everyone have a great day, stay safe, and stay away from COVID, alright? Goodbye, Brigadiers and Brigadettes, and hockey fans in general. This is your captain signing off. Have a great week.